Hi, welcome to another episode of Finding Your Cup. This is the new podcast, as you may know, from 12 Stones Coffee. I'm Dina, and this is our 12 Stones manager, Kerstyn Anderson. Oh, do you want your last name on there? I mean, it's too late, but we can stop.
You can say whatever. I am Kerstyn Anderson, so whatever. I like Kerstyn.
It's a fake last name anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to change it someday. So single. Everybody.
This is the new dating podcast.
Leave comments down below, age.
Oh, no, that's just fraught with peril.
Yeah, that'd be. Let's not.
No, that's not what the podcast is about.
What we're going to do.
No. So Kerstyn and I just wanted to get together because we don't see each other all the time. No, we wanted to get together and just share as we go into 2025. We wanted to share the vision of 12 Stones Coffee, share a little bit how Kerstyn came to be the manager. She's truly answered prayer, and I'll go into that a little bit more in depth. But it's just really cool what God is doing and how God brought her here, and just even what, let's see, you've been here for a year and a half?
2 years.
Oh my gosh, 2 years.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So 2 years, she came on to be my manager starting in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After leaving me, no, I'm just kidding. She left this summer for an exciting missionary trip,
Which we'll get into.
Because it looks a little bit different than a typical missionary trip, and is exciting because where she went so aligns with like the heart of 12 Stones.
Yeah.
You'll understand what that means in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to just let you talk a little bit.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm super excited to be on here because I know that ever since I started working at 12 Stones, the first year that I was here, I didn't really catch much of the vision because this was kind of just a job while I was off doing my own thing. Yeah, I mean, we'll get more into our stories of all of this, so I can explain that too later. But once I finally was just kind of working here and just living, I wasn't really doing anything else. That was when I really started catching like Dina's heart for this place and just the business and her dream. And it's actually really funny because her daughter Elise is also a barista here. I'm sure y'all have seen her. People think we're sisters all the time, or the same person. They mix us up all the time. And so we are so close. We're such good friends. And so even through being friends with her and just like their whole family has just been an entire blessing to me, and just done so much for me. I mean, I just remember in my internship too, when like my apartment's laundry stuff broke and I do like laundry at your house, and you were like, yeah, it was so funny. They knew I needed like cash and stuff, so they're like, come dog sit and house sit, and like it was like they were like making up excuses to get No, it's true.
It helped us too.
But yeah, it was just a really big blessing, and they just poured so much into me. And just through that and stuff, and just the coffee shop, I've been a barista for so long, and I just love the culture of the coffee world of the community is the biggest thing. Just how many regulars, you know, like I feel like a coffee shop is really the only place, like restaurants, you know, and there's like these places that, yes, you're like a regular customer, but like coffee, it's like every single day. You see someone every single day here, and it is crazy. Like our customer base, you see them every single day. And so, yeah, so just like through that and just working here and just having it be such an amazing work environment. And I just love our customer base. I talk about it all the time, that it's like the best customer base that I've ever worked with in my life, any job that I've ever had. It is so awesome. And just like being almost family with all these people, it feels like is just the best. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about, is just like the community aspect of it, and just what 12 Stones is, and the heart behind 12 Stones of it being coffee and coffee cultivating community. And so, so we're going to kind of just talk about our vision and just what we're up to, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I was just thinking of something, how I didn't really even like coffee until I was in my 20s. But I always wanted to like coffee even before I did, because I think since the beginning of time when coffee was discovered, it has been about bringing community together.
Right.
I mean, I think about it growing up, like my parents drank coffee, and there was always laughter around coffee. There was serious discussion around coffee. It really created community that was healthy and nurturing. So when we opened in this southern part of Bismarck, so close to the University of Mary, our hope was that we would become a place of community for young adults as well, and for students. And God definitely answered that prayer, and it's been such a blessing. But I think what has been even, I think a blessing I didn't necessarily anticipate is that pretty much all of my baristas, with a few exceptions, have been young adults. Some college students, some not. And while it's, as you would expect, I've had a chance to like mentor as well. And that's been such a blessing. But I feel also like it's been so often, you hear the phrase iron sharpens iron, and it's so been like that, where I have learned so much as well from the younger generation. And so to me, it's been a beautiful example of how we learn from each other, and that we should never discount any generation and what they have to offer. Yeah. And while there's areas of wisdom that I can offer just simply because I've, been walking the earth longer or what have you. There's wisdom that comes from the younger generation too, just in how they're perceiving the world. And I love it because I've said this several times too, that I have like this renewed hope in the direction of our country because of the younger generation, because you and I have talked about this too, but you're sick of an illusion of things. You know what I mean? You want genuine. Wow, I just hit the table. Sorry. Genuine. You want genuine. No, but you want transparency. You want to hear things and see things that are genuine. Many of you may know this. Some of you may not know this. We're a faith-filled business, a faith-based business. And I am so encouraged by the young adults coming through in the conversations that I hear. And I think it's, like I said, it's been this incredible blessing that I don't think I anticipated. And so I think it's beautiful to see what God is doing in this space of 12 Stones among all generations. And we see every generation here. That's the thing. I mean, we have the young adults. We have the moms, that are just kind of trying to survive their day. Like I remember doing when I had littles. We have the young professionals. We have the older professionals. We have the retired, that come and meet for coffee or have their Bible study here or whatnot. And nothing fills my heart fuller than to look out and like to see all of that. And so, that's why I think I love coffee houses that provide community so much, because it is a space to really get to know one another and to encourage each other again across all generations. Yeah. So,
well, again, another reason why I just like fallen in love with the culture of 12 Stones was really from working and just the conversations that I would get into with our regulars, the conversations that I'd get into with the other employees that I was working with, because we're kind of out of the way. Like we're in a very interesting location, but it's so the Lord, I think, that has this location in mind when he really had 12 Stones become a thing here, because we are slower and we do have slower evenings and stuff, but I just don't know how many times it has given me opportunity to minister or be ministered to because of how slow we are. And I just think it's so cool too, because every coffee shop, you know, is like, the coffee industry, it's hard to finally start like making money.
Yeah.
And it's so like a push, like we need to do anything we can to make money. And I just love that that's not our drive here, because we are so like, the Lord is going to provide the money that we need, and he is going to bring the people in the doors, and he's going to bring the right people into the doors. And that's with our staff too. We've completely trusted. We literally just had an interview yesterday that was such an answered prayer, and literally everything that we needed for this like upcoming season. And so it just goes to show the faithfulness of the Lord and how he really is who he says he is, and he's going to provide. But it's so fun doing business in that way, instead of this stressful, constantly being productive, constantly needing more. You know, we need to make more drinks, make things more interesting. Everything needs to always be bigger and better so we can get more people. And it's just not that here. And this is the first coffee shop I've really worked at that doesn't have that culture, you know, of bigger and better, and, you know, social media and stay with the trends and, you know, everything. It's just like, there's so many things we can improve on. There's so many things that we want to grow in, but our heart is so we just want this to be a place of ministry, in its own way. Because I mean, as a believer, it's like Sunday mornings, and if you serve at church or if you are in a ministry role, like that's not all the only way you do ministry. It's just with your life. And so if you are a barista, that's a ministry. And if you are a business owner, that's a ministry. And if you're the manager of a coffee shop, that's a ministry. And so how do you just like, you know, walk that out as a minister, like, you know, and it's first you're ministering to the Lord, and then you're ministering to people. And so it's just out of this overflow. And I've just loved that culture here. And like through that, I mean, we've just seen that culture grow and grow. And I think just it's cool seeing our baristas kind of pick up on that, and our regulars pick up on that. And that's just been a growing culture. And now it's kind of this thing too with this, you know, 2025, this next year, we're like, we want to cultivate that and share that, because we are kind of our own little corner of the world right now. And it's like so amazing for the people who have found it, and they love it. And I mean, I know I've had conversations with many of you and many of the regulars who have talked about that, and how the coffee shop has been such a blessing, and more than just like, oh, I get a good coffee, like the conversation that comes and just the environment too. Like, I mean, I can tell that the Holy Spirit rests on this place, you know, and he's so here, and he provides this place of peace and joy for others. And so, it's not just this thing we want to keep for our community. Like, we want others to experience that, like, hey, like business owners or people who are aspiring business owners, like you can run a business and not have to be stressed about finances all the time. You know, you can manage a coffee shop and not constantly be under pressure and stress, because I mean, we're going to talk about that too, is just like Sabbath and rest and having boundaries and honoring the Lord and your capacity and disappointing people.
Which is super hard for, I think, everyone, but that's really hard for me, wanting to please everyone. And and so like, I just think, this has just been such a cool opportunity for me, just growing in this space over the last 2 years, because I have grown. Oh my goodness. It's been a lot of deep growth over the past 2 years for me, but just growing in a space that is so like, you know, there's a countercultural way to do things, and that's biblical, you know, and that can be applied to a coffee shop, and it can be applied to a business. It can be applied to the way you do everything in your life, and scheduling, and, you know, financial things, and just, So I've just loved that. And we want to like share that with our community. We want to share, like, you can have godly relationships. Yeah. Cause I think it's about fostering relationship. And so, like, we don't always know where people are necessarily with their relationship with God, or if they even know, you know, God, but through, just fostering those relationships and really listening and being able to talk to people and encourage people. It's so important. And so I think that is what we try to do here. And I just wanted to go back a little bit to something you were saying too, just about it spoke to vision. And I think as a business owner, it's so hard not to fall into the pressure of kind of wanting to be everything to everybody, to worry, especially starting out. I know anyone that's opened a small business knows this, especially in this field of worrying about the money and how do we bring in enough people and all of that. And it's important to steward things well. And I am constantly learning. Like you said, we're constantly like trying to improve upon things, but I am so excited to go into 2025 because so both Kerstyn and I, we're part of the worship team at New Life. And in one of our meetings just earlier this week, we were watching a message from someone, and she said something that so resonated with me. And it was, you can be pushed by pressure or drawn by vision.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I have felt so pushed by pressure, basically of my own doing, right? Pushing myself, feeling pressured to do things and really questioning then, is that really part of the vision? Like, am I really being true to the vision? And that leads to burnout.
Yeah.
And a lot of we'll talk a little bit more about, Sabbath, as you were saying, and just abiding with God. But that's kind of where I was. And in the midst of that, I was praying, like for a partner to come alongside and to do 12 Stones with, that really had a heart for the vision and loved coffee and community as much as I did. Cause that is one thing, like we never want to compromise on the quality of the coffee, cause that's just as important. I love coffee, good coffee. Same with Kerstyn.
Yeah.
But I never want to do a coffee shop just to do coffee.
Yeah.
Neither do you.
No.
And we're here for the people.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's that drawn by vision part. And I feel like, that's where we're at. And I'm so excited. And I really did just have to kind of learn to abide again, spend time with God and just trust. And when your schedule opened up to where you could spend more time at 12 Stones and like kind of start to get an inkling that you wanted to be manager. And I was so excited. And then, God's hand was in it, but then we got word and that you were going to be going to Estonia. And so, and a little bit of fear crept in, I'll be honest. I said some prayers like, God, please don't let her love it so much she just stays there. Bring her back. Yeah. But anyway, I want you to now tell about how that came about, what you did in Estonia, and how it was so good for what you brought back to 12 Stones. Not just, it was so good for you personally, but it was really good for 12 Stones too. So,
yeah. So at the beginning of 2024, my schedule had completely opened up because I was done with my internship. And so I just had way more time and energy and just everything to give. And so, I took up more hours here. It was just kind of like working full time, hanging out and, just living life, and then I was at a, network event for the Assemblies of God, which is, it's a denomination of the church that we go to, which is New Life, which 12 Stones is in. And I was helping out with worship at an event there, and a missionary that I know I didn't know well, but he had approached me and just let me know, like, hey, the coffee shop that I have in Estonia is really looking for baristas because their entire team, was basically gone, either itinerating or they were having a baby or just there was so much stuff going on. So they didn't really have a team and they just needed short-term help to just keep the coffee shop going, and then kind of offering it as an internship. So then you could also gain, have it be a give and take. And so, so yeah, it was just this really random opportunity. And, you know, for me, it's usually been like, not like, oh Lord, give me more opportunities. It's like, you need to like shut the doors that I'm not supposed to go through. And so I didn't really think much of it at first, but, he was like, if anyone you know who's a barista and is just like interested in something like that, like you should let them know. And I like knew quite a few people. And so I like started telling some people or whatever. And, I told my roommate actually, and she was like so down for it. And I just naturally brought it up to one of my friends who was working here. And I just like brought it up to her, and then she was interested, and I was like, oh,
I lost 2 baristas.
yeah. So yeah, it was honestly such an interesting situation because I'd like brought it up because, Rachel, my friend, was just kind of wondering more about it, and me just explaining more of the details. And then I kind of caught on that it was her that was interested. And I was like, oh no, it might be 2 of us leaving. Like, that's really interesting. Okay. So it was just like such a funny time.
I didn't cry. No,
I don't believe you. But yeah, so yeah, it was just really cool. And then as I, saw my roommate, Milena, she went through like the interview process, and I mean, we kind of went through it together because I was still kind of just intrigued by it. But I really loved just being here. I really loved Bismarck. I still do. I love Bismarck, and I love my job. I love my apartment. I love my friends. Like, I just loved everything. So I was like, I'm probably not going to go, like, but I just want to see, like, I'm just intrigued. And while they're on the interview call, and, you know, Melena's asking all these questions and stuff, and I'm just like listening. And it was so just how they ran things, at their coffee shop in Estonia, was just so much of what I wanted to learn. Cause I would love to have my own coffee shop someday. I don't know. It's a dream that I've totally given the Lord. But just cultivating community. And I've been a barista for as long as I can remember. And so just, I love serving coffee. I've even made jokes that like, I'd rather serve coffee than drink coffee. Like I do love coffee. So it's like, I just love serving people. Like coffee and just being hospitable and stuff. That's a huge heart of mine. And so just as they were explaining just so much about, they did so many events at their coffee shop, and they were so people focused, and it was also really slow so they could minister to people and be so intentional. And it wasn't even like, so then we can get them to be Christian. Like that's not true evangelism, you know, like evangelism is actually loving people, you know, not being like, okay, now you're going to go to church with me, or, you know, like, like it's just loving people exactly where they're at, and just having the love of God overflow out of you and meet people where they're at. And so they like, that was just a huge heart of theirs. And so I was just so intrigued. And so I'm like wrestling with it. And I actually shared this at the fundraiser that I got to do, that actually Dina let me do here, where I performed some of my originals and stuff, and just got to raise money. Yeah, that was a dream come true too. But I just shared there that a huge thing the Lord said to me. So I was like walking around my apartment, and I'm like praying, and I'm like, Lord, like I love my life, and I love my friends. And I'm just saying how all these things, like I just love my life. Like that was the biggest thing that I was saying. And the verse just hits me so hard. It's in Mark, and it was like, those who love their life will lose it, but those who lose their life for my sake and the gospels will save it. And it just hit me like a truck. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to go. Okay. Wow. And so that started that. And I knew I needed to tell Dina as soon as possible to keep her in the loop with things. It was a really hard decision. There was a lot of tears for me through that too, because I just didn't want to leave. I just loved it here. And so, so just letting Dina know that, and just going through the process of everything, figuring out stuff with the apartment, all that stuff. But it was crazy how the Lord just showed up and provided so many solutions to all these things, and brought the right people who needed to be here for the summer to cover that. And then stuff with my apartment, and just, it was so the Lord who did all of that. And so it was just confirmation time and time again that it was the right decision to make. And so it started that journey. And so, I was in Estonia for 3 months, working with Jordy and Elizabeth Nunez, who are Assemblies of God missionaries to Estonia. And they have a coffee shop called Collab. And so you can find all of that on Instagram if you want to check it out, because they carry a very similar heart and very similar passion, but just for, you know, overseas and for people that are in Estonia. And what's up?
Can I just interject super quick?
Yeah.
So what was kind of cool is that in the midst of this, Jordy and Elizabeth were back for a bit. And I actually got to meet Jordy. He came into 12 Stones and we sat and had a conversation. And oh my gosh, like one, I not only was like, I so excited for my baristas to go there and experience it, but I actually wanted to go too. Someday, that's still like, I'm hoping like my husband and I can go over there and experience collab in Estonia. But yeah, Jordy, the heart that he the heart that he carries and how he does the coffee shop, it is so similar. Like, it was so encouraging. We had such a good conversation. It just like fanned the flames of the fire inside me that I carry for the Heart of 12 Stones. Same heart. It's about relationships, serving good coffee, but creating a place of community and really ministering to people that way. And so that conversation to me was such a God appointment because, like I said, it so fed my own vision, but also made me like, it allowed me to with open hands, just be like, okay, like God, this is great. I'm trusting you. I don't know why I just hit you.
I'm trusting God.
Trusting you, God, to bring Kerstyn back.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I wanted to interject, because I really felt like that conversation I was able to have with Jordy was also just a big blessing. And they are actually missionaries now that 12 Stones is monthly supporting as well, because I want collab to continue and what they're doing over there, and I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was such an amazing experience, and Jordy and Elizabeth were just such fun people to learn under. It was a very interesting situation because, I mean, we knew we were going, us baristas knew we were going because they were at a place where they needed holes to be filled. And we were the fillers of those holes. And so we knew there was kind of going to be an interesting dynamic of, trying to sort through expectations and all that stuff. So Jordy and Elizabeth were there only the last month. But that was one of the most rich last months of any trip I'd ever gone on. Like, it was so inspiring and just so fun because they were so intentional with all the baristas when they were there and just meeting with us and having conversations and helping inspire us and getting to know us and what our hearts were and just fanning that flame, like you said, like Jordy is so good at that. Yeah. And so it was just so cool, and having conversations of just picking their brain. And then, so all 3 months were basically us just being baristas. But the thing that was crazy is, because again, this was not like any mission trip I'd gone on before. Usually mission trips you go on, it's like you go. But this was over 3 months. And so you have to pace yourself a little more. But then also we get there thinking, we're going to work at this coffee shop every day and we're going to see revival break out and we're going to preach the gospel. And like, you're just all fired up for what the Lord's going to do. And then usually like reality sets in a little bit and the Holy Spirit's like, I like to go a little slower than y'all do. And so we got there and we actually figured out that we only were going to be working in the coffee shop 3 to 4 days a week, which is like, okay, that's half the time that we're, and so we get there and we're like, what are we supposed to do for 3 to 4 days? And I mean, it was fun because we did get to explore and stuff, but when you go as like a missionary and you raised money, you're like, I need to like, like I can't just go and explore and have fun. Like,
I need to be doing stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And it really was pressure. And at first, like that was just something I really struggled with, was just almost feeling guilty if I wasn't like preaching the gospel to someone or whatever. But that was such a necessary time in my life where the Lord taught me so much about kingdom pace and what the pace of the kingdom of God is, and really what Sabbath is and what rest looks like, and what it looks like to actually, evangelize. Because I think people hear that word and they go, I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's just like fear around that word, and there's, miscommunication, all these things that happen with that, because people just think of like someone pushing their religion on you on a street corner and just yelling in your face about the gospel, like repent or die, and like, that's just not at all what we're called to do as the body of Christ. It's again, like blessing people. And that was the whole thing they taught us as interns too, was actually practical ways where you evangelize, and that was blessing people, and that was listening, and that was inviting people into your home and eating with people, like just all these practical things. They actually had an acronym, BELLS, and the book it's based off of is Surprising the World. So I'll plug that because it was such a good book of just about basic, like practical evangelism in your everyday life. And so they just taught us a lot about that. But with that came just a lot of rest. And it surprised me because, you know, you think of like the missionary life, or you think of, you know, being on mission for the Lord, and you're like, I'm ready to go. But the Lord's like, okay, now it's like rest and you abide with me. And abide means like remain. So you have to stay there for a long time, you know, for there to be fruit. And so there was so much in Estonia that I learned about that, because like we would get together weekly and kind of share testimonies and stuff. And it was this thing too that you struggle with of like, I don't really have a testimony from the week. Like, did I do something wrong? Like, am I not doing things right and stuff? But just having like so much peace of like, I'm growing so much closer to the Lord. And that's ultimately, you know, and I'm just going to be always open and willing to, you know, evangelize, like bless and eat and listen and love on those around me. And if that happens, great. If not, then I'm just getting closer to the Lord, and that's enough for me, you know? And so that was a huge thing that we learned there. But then too, on the practical side of things, with just how Collab runs, it was so much. Every Tuesday night they have game night, and or every other Tuesday night they had game night. They had coffee cuppings. We did like monthly events, just getting people in there together. And yeah, and so just so many people would come to those, and we would just get to like love on them and just have such good conversations. And you know, like, and so when it is slower, and when you actually get to love on people, and you get to just kind of share with them your biblical worldview on certain things and talk about things, and it's all through conversation, like you said, fostering relationship. Like that's really what preaching the gospel is. Like it doesn't need to be on a street corner. I mean, yes, if the Spirit tells you to do it, but like a lot of the gospel is literally every single day, just like fostering your relationships well. And I realized that so much, even being in Bismarck and through the community the Lord has given me, that the gospel is the most represented through the relationships that we have with each other. And like, I just learned so much about that. And it was so cool to get to dream so much in Estonia. I know that was a huge thing. The Lord had spoke to me that he brought me there for Estonia to be an incubator, is the word that he gave me. And it was that, like, an incubator, I guess I didn't really look this up. I can't remember the exact definition, but if you look up the exact definition of an incubator, like just the words that were used, I was like, this is so spot on. Cause it was like a secluded, safe space for premature organism or something like that. And just there were so many dreams I had, and it, like, Estonia was such an incubator for these premature like dreams that I had. And so like it was so fun to be there and just watch the Lord like plant seeds and like help me grieve things that didn't happen and dreams that didn't come true, and have me like bury those. But really, the gospel, when you bury anything, it's really just planting. And so like watching the Lord move in that too. And so, and just being so excited that like I had a practical application to all these things when I got back. And that was super exciting for me, because, you know, like it's fun to dream and it's fun to be like, oh, wherever this takes me, whatever. But I like knew that I had a place to apply this, because it was so, I had been at 12 Stones for a year and some change at that point. And so I knew the vision and what was going on at 12 Stones. And then I'm here at Collab just being immersed, and I'm like, this is so what 12 Stones is about. And I was like, I get to go back and like help out and make, you know, some of these things happen for like our community to really grow and really receive the gospel, and not in this way that like we're a faith-based business and pushing in your face. Like, just like we are a faith-based business because like we believe that's the best way, and not like in this way that's like how you're doing is bad. It's just like, we believe it's the most fruitful. We've witnessed it in our lives. Like it's the most fruitful in our relationships. It's the most fruitful in like the way we live our lives. My emotional health and mental health is the best it's ever been when walking with the Lord and walking by his ways, and your finances and just, you know, everything is just more fruitful. And the kingdom of God actually comes to pass when you actually submit to how he wants you to do things. And so I was so excited to get to come back and like apply these things in like a place that is under those, like that belief and operating that way, because I knew that it was just going to be so fruitful. And when you just submit to how the Lord wants to do things, then I mean, it's fruitful because that's just how it goes, you know, like the Lord blesses it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think 12 stones exists without God's vision. It's just it's a dream that he gave me that I'm trying to steward well. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything apart from his will. I mean, I just couldn't. I know I couldn't. I simply could not do life without God.
Yes. Yeah, it's so true. So yeah, I know we're just really excited because then I was able to come back, and then so all your prayers got answered.
Yes.
Of me coming back.
Well, really, even I would say above and beyond, because when you came back, it was you came back different, right? I mean, there was so much growth. It was obvious, so much growth. It was, and I think it was a time of healing because, you know, like without going into it, you had come through a difficult, you know, period in your life, and you allowed God to use that to teach you and to refine you. And that's exactly what we should do in those seasons. And so you came back and you were a firecracker, and you always are. She's always kind of a firecracker. But it was so exciting. I mean, that doesn't even cover it, but it was like God placed the true vision for 12 stones. He placed it in your heart. I mean, I think you always understood like the mission, like from the get-go and our vision, but now I do feel like it resides in your heart in a special way. Yeah. And so for me, I feel like I have a kind of a true partner in that way. I don't know. Whoops. Wow. Oh my gosh, just lost my mic. Have I mentioned I'm not a professional podcaster?
We're all learning as we go here.
It's amateur hours.
Yeah, it is. For both of us.
But no, for real, getting back to it, it was above and beyond what I expected. And so it's just been really, really fun to start this journey since September with you as manager.
So I think just the next part would be us answering the question, what is the vision of 12 Stones for 2025? And you should answer first as the owner. What is
the vision?
And I'll kind of build off of you, I guess. We've had a lot of conversations around this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever like explicitly said actually.
No.
So now I'm like curious.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the core vision of 12 Stones is serving exceptional coffee and fostering great community. Yeah. Okay. And so really it's going back to that, and what are we going to do in 2025 to do that even better? And from a practical side, on the coffee side, I know there's some new things we want to do. So we really want to so I guess what it comes down to is we want to serve excellent coffee and educate people, because I think it's fun. Yeah. A lot of our customers do find it fun to learn more about coffee. So in that way, we want to just continue to get better at what we do, because I think the coffee world is constantly changing. It's not stagnant. And even bring in our roaster he does some fun, he does like a coffee 101, 102, and 103 class.
Who is our coffee roaster?
Oh, yeah. So our coffee roaster is Pure Bean Roasters out of Rapid City. And Nick Reed is the owner of Pure Bean. And he was a mentor as I opened the business, and has continued to be very helpful. That's a whole nother episode, but I will just say, before we even opened, that was a God appointment, going into Pure Bean in Rapid City and how they became our roaster. So to even foster greater community, we've been talking about what we can do. And since the beginning, since I opened, I always did want to do more events. But it's just, I still have a family at home. I couldn't do it all. And there was a season where I got kind of burnt out, like after the first year of being open, I just physically was quite burnt out. But again, God answered prayer. Kerstyn is like this natural connector. I just have to say that. I've known a couple of people in my life that just have the gift of connecting people from just all different areas. It's not even like all the people you connect, they don't all start out knowing each other. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful because I love people and I love to chat with people, but I am by nature more introverted. So I wouldn't say that I'm like a connector. Mm-hmm. You just have a gift. It's just, that's the best way I can put it. You have a gift. And so it just naturally you connect people, and she has a heart to do more events as well. And so she'll start managing those events. And in 2025, you'll start us, see us add more of those in. And one thing too, this, I have to just say, this was also kind of a dream come true for me. I love the Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, always have. And back when my husband and I lived in Omaha, we had a friend who used to do an annual It's a Wonderful Life party at his home. And it was just such a great evening to watch the movie and to fellowship together. And so when I opened 12 Stones, that was always in my mind. Like, I wanted to do something like that. This year we did it. Mm-hmm. We did it. And, and people loved it. The people that came, and we've been asked, when are you going to do another movie night? But we turned 12 Stones into, I already think like we have a great seating area, but we did turn it into like more of a comfy,
like a living room,
cozy living room environment. Yeah. We had a big screen, projected the movie onto it, and it was fun. And that's an event. We'd like to do more movie nights. I'd like to make It's a Wonderful Life, movie night, an annual thing. Yeah. And then I want you to speak on some of the other things we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, events. I had never even thought about the concept of coffee shops having events. Like, I knew of places that did it, but I didn't know it was kind of like a thing until I like really went to collab. And, you know, cause you'll see like open mic nights or like, I don't know, bingo, or I don't know, just like random things like that like coffee shops will randomly do, but it's kind of like its own special thing. It's not really like this regular thing. And then collab, it was every other Tuesday was a game night. And every week we had something that we were doing in the coffee shop, and it was just so cool. And I was like, I want to do this so bad at 12 Stones. And so it's been fun. Even just trying to, ideate some things of what like events people would like to see. And we've already gotten, just feedback on like what people would want to see, and game nights are some of those. And then two, just like things that have been recommended to us, like painters club, or you know, like a night where you just come and paint. And I mean, something that I would love to do is have a night too where it's a like no screen night, like none of you computer campers, sorry, like that night you come in and you put your phone in a bin and you talk to people, or you play a game, or you read, or you do something, and just having that environment.
So I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's just ideas like that we definitely have that are just kind of stirring. And right now a lot of it's in the works, and we got to figure some things out, because, you know, you can like have this big dream or whatever, but then we have to like actually be detail oriented people to make it actually
the details,
which actually stinks. But so there's a bunch of things to actually work out, and but it's coming soon, and we can't wait to keep you posted about all the things that we're planning on doing, all the events we want to have. We want to have stuff that's for really all ages. Maybe have specific nights for young adults, or specific nights for, I don't know, whatever. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we have lots of dreams, lots of ideas for that, and just getting people together. And again, just kind of having this evangelistic heart of just blessing people. And we want to love on our community, because this is where the Lord has us, and we love Bismarck. And we love the community here. We love our customer base. And so we want to give back in any way. And the best thing that we could give to people is the love of the gospel. And so that's like our whole heart behind any of this. And so,
we always talk about how we love our customer base, and we have some of the nicest customers.
Yes.
I don't know. It's pretty awesome.
Crazy.
And I think too, like, I love hearing, people come in and they'll say, like, people that have never been in before, and they'll say, it just feels different in here. Like, I can't.
And we're like, weird.
We know why. But no, like, it's just, I love to hear that because, we want to be a home away from home, a place of refreshment.
Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe this is my job.
Yeah. And to make coffee and drink really good coffee.
And
like,
to make coffee.
Well, I mean, for real, you know, like,
no, it's true.
That's a perk. Oh, and I just have to say, because it's kind of going to be my thing, that I'm always going to have a different cup, like when I do the podcast, and they all mean something. So if you watched my original podcast, my very first episode, I kind of explained that. But this is from Kerstyn. She got me like this. She wrote me the sweetest card for Christmas, and then had just a sweet little gift. So there's this cup, which I'm drinking. What kind of milk again?
Cashew milk.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was trying cashew milk, really like it. So it's just a cashew milk latte. I think that coffee tastes better when you're drinking out of a cup that means something, or that you just like. Aww. I don't know. So yeah. I just wanted to say that. No,
yeah.
I loved it. You know, I loved it. Thank you for everyone that has been listening or watching. And we hope that you continue to join us. And remember, find your cup, feed it with what fills your vision, and always drink good coffee.
Do it. Come to 12 Stones tomorrow.
Yes, drink good coffee. Come to 12 Stones every day.
Yeah. And drink good coffee.
See you later.
Bye.